What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Millzy coming back with Hometown Commander. We're back for another new episode of Brawl gameplay today. I figured I would take this week to play some Brawl decks and Standard Brawl. In about a week and a half's time, we're going to have rotation, which definitely means that some of the decks that I would want to play are going to change, but that's perfectly okay. But I thought I would take a chance to showcase off some of the decks that I've been enjoying. And then once Domineer United releases, we can talk about how these decks are going to change. One of the 4 decks I hope to put out videos for this week is a deck that will be rotating out of Brawl, and we'll talk about how I plan on porting that deck over to Historic Brawl. Today we have Adeline, Resplendent, Cathar from Midnight Hunt. Thankfully, this deck is going to be staying in Standard Brawl. Midnight Hunt will be the oldest set that we'll have in rotation once Domineer comes out. Although we'll be losing a lot of pieces of this deck, so it'll be fun to see what I can piece back together for it. But we go play some Brawl, baby. Let's do it. Adeline, mono white. This is very much an aggro deck. Your goal with this deck is going to be to play aggressively as possible, attack as aggressively as possible, and we want to win the game quickly. We're going to try to avoid some removal if we can, and hopefully we can get that tempo out very quickly to the start of the game to win quickly. That does mean that we're going to probably lose some games against some mid-range decks if we can't win quick enough. So you kind of just have to be aware of that. We have a time clock as an aggro deck. But I like this deck. I think it does a very good job at it, at sticking to our time clock, and putting a lot of pressure on our opponents. So I haven't seen a Yasharn deck, so this is kind of cool. Kind of think we'll flash in the Cathar on their end step. A lot of times you're looking to go 1 drop on turn 1, 2 drop on turn 2, into Adeline on turn 3. Here we see a Scoot Swarm come down, which could normally be a problem, but I think I'm kind of content to Skyclave it right here. So we'll Skyclave it, get rid of it, swing in with our Cathar. Try to push that tempo back in our favor. They can put down the Yasharn here. And I guess I probably should have saved the Skyclave Apparition for the Yasharn, because I believe it is 4 on Skyclave. It is, but that's okay. We'll have to figure it out, friends. I kind of like doing a Clarion Spirit backup agent play, getting us a counter and some extra creatures. Hopefully we can kind of win the game on the ground with value. So I think I'm going to do that. I'll have backup agent come in. I think I'm going to put the counter on Cathar's Cathar Commando. It's going to make it a little bit bigger and be able to block this Yasharn if that's the route they choose to go. Now, we can't pay life or sacrifice downland permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. And that's fine because we really don't. Yes, you know, the Cathar would sacrifice itself for its ability to try to destroy an artifact or enchantment, but we don't really have anything relevant at the moment. I think right now we're looking at a really good attack on our turn, depending on how they choose to take their attacks or if they attack. Okay, so they double attack. So they have a green up, which means, you know, they could have a Snakeskin Veil, something like that. I think I want to take out the Yasharn here, and I think I'm okay to let Gallagher stay alive. So they don't have anything, so we trade, which is completely fine. I don't mind trading the Cathar Commando there. We have a really great attack here with putting an Adeline down in our turn, but we got to see what else they're planning on doing. So I can get rid of the Galagraders with a portable hole. Fortunately, I can't with the Toski. Toski, I've definitely noticed, has been being played as this mid-range enabler, you know, dealing that damage. We see an Inscription of Abundance. Okay. We see a Luminarch Aspirant. Well, that certainly helps. Do we do 2? That Crowbar makes a 1/1, and then I think I'm going to portable hole the Galagraders. think we'll put the counter on the backup agent, and we'll attack here. If Toski chooses to block either of them, they just bounce. We're going to get 2 through. And again, we're going to try our best to set up for a good attack once Adeline comes down. All right, so we see Vorinclex, which is not good for us. Do I give him the 2 cards? I guess I'll give him the 2 cards. I can't really justify a block there. Okay, so now unfortunately I can't get any counters with Luminarch Aspirant this turn. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but I think we're just going to go as aggro as we can here. Again, no counter is going to get placed on because of the Vorinclex. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, Adeline would be a good block for Vorinclex. Even though Vorinclex has Trample, I still think Adeline is worth the block there if our opponent does nothing else to augment the board. All right, so Everbrook Caretaker are going to put the counters on Vorinclex, which will make it up to a 10-10, which is now a problem. Chooses not to attack with the Vorinclex. Well, I'll block with the 2s in case they got a trick, which they don't. All right, so the question becomes, what is my plan here? If I attack, they're obviously going to block here. Yeah, I think unfortunately I kind of got... I didn't get my aggro out fast enough, and they most certainly have me in the backswing, which kind of stinks there. But again, when we're playing an aggro deck like this, we need that start, and unfortunately I don't think that game we got it. But the Vorinclex, of course, did not help either. You know, Luminarch probably helps us there, get a counter on Adeline that turn, and hopefully try to block the Vorinclex on the backswing, even though it would have gotten even bigger because of the Caretaker. We play removal, but you know, sometimes you just don't see your removal when you need it, and we get left out to dry. But that's okay. Like I said, I like this Adeline deck. It's definitely interesting. It's a lot of playing aggressively and being okay with understanding your window for advantage. You know, Adeline definitely has a very quick window of advantage, whereas other decks, you know, another deck like that one where it sits more into that mid-range strategy, if we let them get set up, are going to go over top of us. Here, I think we have a really good chance. We can get one of these down turn 1, and then we can get the other 2 down on turn 2 to get us some good value. I think I'll put the Champion of Alms. Gotta play land first, buddy. I'll put the Champion of Alms down first since it has Ward 1. If they really want to get it out of the way, they're going to have to pay all their mana to do it. Then we'll do Monk and Cleric. This will pump the Monk up. And then hopefully turn 3 we can drop Adeline down and start making some good attacks. Alright, so Kaya, I pretty much only ever see her come down in -3, so I'm intrigued to see what they're doing with the strategy. Here we're going to Monk, and then Kitesail Cleric. And this does have first strike, so I think I'm going to take the attack here. If they block it, they won't actually gain any life, but I didn't know if they would know that or not. So I think we're shaping up for turn 3 Adeline play. Swing in, that attack will get us an extra 1/1 attacking. We just got to be careful with Monk of the Open Hand, because it would not trade very well into the Snull Priest. This makes me think we have... Pardon me, this makes me think we have a removal that they're not playing. I mean, at this point, I think I'm willing to let Adeline take the removal if it pushes our strategy forward. But we got to see what we draw here. It's just this stick here and this mana makes me think they have to have something. All right, Priest of the Ancient Lore. Yeah, so I think I have to Adeline here. The only bummer here is if they block the Monk, they trade. But I think I'm willing to take that at this point. We need to get some sort of advantage back. So they do. So we'll only get 3 through. But they would drop down a creature. But they're still thinking about it, which is kind of interesting. So let's see what they choose to do. Yep, that's what they choose to do. So we actually kept our counter or a token, which is cool because a lot of the times with Adeline, as soon as you attack, people block the token. We do have the ability to get this code spell cleric down as a 2/2, but I'm gonna doubt that that's gonna be an option. I still feel like they have to have some sort of removal. These black white decks always have great removal. All right, we'll go Lunarch Veteran. We'll go Code Spell Cleric. I'll try to put it on Adeline. We're gonna snuff out this removal and we'll get going. If they have it, they gotta use it, which is gonna kind of stink because then Adeline will go up to 5. But we have to draw it out eventually. I doubt they're gonna just sit on 3 mana forever. We see it keep going. Does that mean they have nothing? Opponent takes 12. Interesting. So I guess what? We're working up for a board wipe then? I'll put the Shaziri Shelter down as a land. Okay, so I guess they're working up for a board wipe here. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of why they haven't played anything yet. Do we see a Doomscar? Do we see a... maybe they're working up for the Blood on the Snow? They're what? 1 mana off the Blood on the Snow? So maybe that's what they're working up to? Okay, so there's the removal, which again is what we expected. But if we can draw land here, dumping Adeline back down will help us a ton. We don't. I kind of like the idea of keeping the Wandering Emperor up. If I full swing here, I would lose 2 creatures. They would, but if they block, they would lose both of their creatures. But we could also use the Wandering Emperor offensively. I don't really want to, though, because I have a good feeling this is coming down next turn. Interesting. So that's, I mean, it's a fair block. I kind of think you'd block the veteran over the Code Spell Cleric. You know, gaining that life probably seems like it'd be more important. So they can flash back the Rite of Oblivion. But the question becomes, do I dump this and get the token? Do I dump this and give this first strike? Try to just blow the board out? I think I'm going to try it. I think it seems like the most interesting play. Try to get as much advantage. I mean, this can go after the Wandering Emperor. And if they do that, that's fine. They can also Kaya and get rid of the Wandering Emperor. Either way, all of the removal is getting pointed here and not at any of this. Which is what I want to happen, so we can dump this Adeline back down. The problem is we need the 5th land to do that. And unfortunately, there's definitely times in Brawl where I get into these situations where you draw your 4 or 5 lands and then you draw nothing else, which is kind of interesting. I guess, you know, thank you, Shuffler. Meat Hook for 2. Okay. Meat Hook for 2. Alright, well, let's dump the Spirited Companion, draw a card. Not a land like I was hoping for. Let's get the Lunarch Veteran back down. We'll make the Samurai. And we'll pass it back. We got to try to set up this board here. I still expect a Kaya or that Rite of Oblivion going towards the Wandering Emperor. I just have a hard time believing that they're going to continue to let me sit here with this Wandering Emperor and mine value off of it. Gelatinous Cube. Okay. Goes after the token. So they're just looking to get rid of the token there. Okay, we finally get back up to 5 for Adeline. Attack doesn't look super great. We can try this, see what's in their hand. I'd kind of be intrigued to see what else they have in their hand. It's sticking, so they must have removal of some... Oh, okay. All that's left is Henrika. We will happily get rid of the Henrika. Let's do Archpriest of Diana, and then we'll make the token again. And we'll pass it for now. This is the first time I've seen a Kaya deck play Gelatinous Cube, which I think is kind of cool. I personally, I love Gelatinous Cube. This is a really cool card, and probably doesn't get played enough. I really like it. I think it's a fun card, not only on flavor, but on what it actually does. It's a very very good piece of creature removal. Removal on a creature, which is not not all that common. Not in the grand scheme of things. I mean, Cathar Commander makes sense, right? This is a creature that can take out enchantments or artifacts. A lot of people are playing a lot of mana artifacts or wedding announcements and things like that. The enchantments that give either buff values or things like that. So that makes a ton of sense. I'm just intrigued as to what they're going to do here. They can pay the full 6 for the Henrika. They could go with Kaya or Rite of Oblivion onto Wandering Emperor. Okay, so we pay the full 6 onto Henrika. They're still not guaranteed to hit the Wandering Emperor here. But they're going to try. Nothing's open. I don't know that I want to do that with the flyer. I kind of want to do this. Let's try that. So they'll both die. They'll, gain one, I lose one from the mate hook. I feel like now's the time to get this Adeline back down. I want to make the... What's Henrika? She's a 3. Pardon me. I think I'll put the counter here. And let's swing. I run the risk of this Phantom dying from Henrika, but I think that's okay. I think we need to start trying to get some damage in. I don't see a world where if we don't try to get aggressive, we don't win. Like we have to try to put some pressure here. I mean, we see 2 pieces of removal in there that they have access to, so we kind of just have to start pressing. I'm still surprised we have yet to see this Kaya come down and go after our Wandering Emperor, or see this Rite of Oblivion go after this Wandering Emperor. It shocks me that they haven't done it yet. There we go. What flips to the backside becomes a little bit bigger. So we see the Kaya come down. My expectation is either Adeline or this Wandering Emperor. And he puts the counter on Cathar Commando. Ah, I see. Oh, okay. I thought maybe he was going to sacrifice there. Okay. We'll do the Loyal Warhound because we can go get the land. I kind of want to do this on their turn to get rid of the meat hook. So I think we take a big attack here. This can't kill Adeline. I got to be careful of them having removal in their hand, but let me think about this. Do I get rid of Kaya? Do I full swing at Kaya, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would kill Kaya, or do I full swing at them? If I full swing at Kaya, it doesn't have the exile. If I full swing at them, they can only exile one thing, and that's most likely to be Adeline. My gut tells me I gotta do it at them. I gotta be aggressive. I can't wait around. I guess we'll send the 1/1 at them. At the Kaya. My gut tells me I have to pressure lethal here. This, if they block here, is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would have been 7 coming at them, but it's 6 now. And if they don't block Adeline, they're in a ton of trouble. And what I can do is, if they block something else, I can do this in response to get rid of the Meathug Massacre so they don't gain any life back. But again, I'm making this decision in full expectation of either this or this coming after Adeline. The thing is, if they do this on Adeline, I have no idea what this exiles. I mean, there's really nothing else under my control that's worth -3ing a Kaya for. Unless they just want to get a blocker out of the way. Okay. I'm waiting to see if they have a trick here. Do they have anything? Do they have anything that they're holding out? They have active mana open. They have stuff in their hand. I'm gonna try this now and see if this got any response. Cause I don't want them to gain anything from this Meathug. They'll still gain a life from it, but I want to get rid of it. So at this point, they're losing the Cathar's Commando. They still get the 1/1. And they untap. Although, yeah, they'll flash it in. Okay, so they untap. I expect Adeline to get removed. If they don't, they're crazy at this point. I mean, I'm just going to continue, right, to go wider and wider. What I'll probably do... First strike, double strike. I can put Grandmaster down and stop Henrika from attacking or blocking, which would be really good. I've never seen that card before. So I guess they're going after, what, Null Priest or Callous Blood Mage. Here's a Strixhaven common that I don't think I've ever seen. You're going after the Null Priest. Okay, they can't play it and kick it, but they could play it. So my expectation is this -3 onto this at this point. And I think if not, they have a tough chance of living through this combat. Especially if I can bring this down and stop Henrika from blocking. I guess conversely, they could just attack with it, and it has lifelink, which is just going to pull their attack up. But we also would be really cool to hit another land to replay the Adeline, potentially as well. So we got a couple different options here. I'm kind of intrigued as to what they're waiting on. What is the thing that's stopping them here? Because I think they have an out. You get rid of the Adeline, Henrika attacks in, you pull yourself up to 11. You play another blocker. You have a good block on my attack, right? You gain some life back, and you start picking off my creatures. And I see the active removal right here, so I know that you have more than that. Okay, so the Ghost Form counter on Oblivion, so they're expecting the... So does the Grandmaster on this make more sense? Because they're expecting to block with it and get the counter back? Ooh, Maul the Skyclaves is really good too, but I cannot play it with only 6 lands. Oh, that's a bummer. If I do this, though, this would have to block it. And the Death Touch wouldn't work because of First Strike. And then the rest of the attacks become probably pretty good. So let's do that. Let's put this on Adeline. They have to block with one of these two. And that block is going to be terrible for them. And I think we just full swing out. I'll have the 1/1 attack them as well. So that's a 10-6 in the air with First Strike and Vigilance. So they have to block with one of these. The problem is if they block with... I was going to say, if they block with Henrika, they don't actually get the Death Touch out of it. So here we're just looking to clear as many of their blockers as we can. This is going to come back. Henrika will live. They'll go up. They're going to take 1, 2... But remember, Adeline has Vigilance at this point, so I will have that blocker in the air for their turn. Now, again, they still have this, and they still have this. So, like I said, they still have a good play. Like, part of me tells me to scoop it here because they have the advantage in the long run. They're going to be able to pull it off in the long run. The question becomes, what are they gonna do? Priest of the Ancient Lower back. Yeah, I think I'm gonna scoop this one up. Just because I actually don't think I can come out from underneath that board state. Even if I draw some perfect card, I think they probably just continue to outvalue me no matter what I do. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to say, oh well, I can draw this card and it's gonna change the whole game, I doubt it. I think the problem again is I missed my aggro window, and the deck set up too much. Unfortunately, I mean, at the end of the day, that's I feel like a broken record, but it's just the way it goes. So let's try a new opponent. This is probably the one Brawl deck that I love on paper. Like, I love the idea of this deck on paper, but I don't get the positive experience I expect from this deck a lot. So I still want to show the deck off on video. I still think it's a fun deck, and I've definitely had some great laser beam games where you go underneath your opponent and you end the game really quickly. But I have seen a lot of games, of course, in true aggro fashion, where you can't close the game out fast enough, or you can't put pressure out fast enough. Your opponent just gets enough removal, enough of their pieces, and you just get grinded out to the end. So, I mean, it's not unfair. I mean, that's the risk we're taking as an aggro deck. That's the risk we're taking as an aggro deck, right? We're taking the risk of losing that mid to late game advantage to have it up front. We just now have to make sure that we're sticking with it. Okay, Florahedron comes down. We can get Adeline down. We'll attack with the Order, and then we'll get the 1/1 off of Adeline here. I just don't want to attack with a Veteran because I don't know if they're going to block with the Florahedron or not. Next turn, we can play the Welcoming Vampire and then attack, and we'll draw the card. Or conversely, we could play 1/2 and get the extra token. Let's think about that. They could block any of the 1/1s. He can't block the Order. Let's do that. Let's do this. Then let's do this. We will put the counter on, I'm thinking, the Order at this point. 1, 2, 3 attacks. We'll get the 1/1, and then the Order gains flying because this has flying. Cool. So, I really like this board state because I can't think of anything that gets them out of this board state. River's Abuse effect. Okay, so Renin 7 comes down, makes a token. Oh, okay, guess not. The token probably stabilizes there, at least a little bit. But so there you go. There's a perfect example of hit your curve, do what the deck's trying to do. So fortunately, we went through a couple games where we did not adequately show what the deck is trying to do as far as our curve goes. But there you go. That shows you that when you hit the curve down right and you get the curve right, you see good success. Not every deck can be a combo sacrifice deck or a big flyers or a spells deck. We have to work within the constraints of the strategy we're playing. But as an aggro player, I enjoy this kind of can I establish my game plan? Can I finish my goal before my opponent has a response? I mean, the interesting thing I always like to do with Brawl, because I am a Commander player, right? Mikey and I have a Commander podcast, is talk about the differences between Brawl and Commander. And Adeline's actually a very good Commander in EDH, because remember that token you create, it goes towards each player. For each opponent, one goes at each of them. So you're not just gumming up the board. You're not just gumming up the ground with these little creatures for the sake of just gumming up the board with little creatures. We're actually, and of course in Commander we have access to a lot better suite of creatures. But you can make this kind of go wide whiteboard where you push in a lot more pressure. Interesting. We'll Spellbinder. I'm kind of intrigued to see what they have in their hand. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, the commander player in me says Crack with Power is the problem. But I also don't like Wash Away either. If I do this, it would be 3 mana to play. They actually do not have blue mana. We'll do this. It has first strike. Yeah, okay. They're not even going to block. If I can get a land, I'd like to Intrepid Adversary to pump my entire team. But, so they don't have access to the blue right now. So they can't, they couldn't Galzeth there. They can Wash Away now, though. They actually can't cleave it, because the cleave cost should be modified as well. So I think we'll wedding announcement here. And then we'll go to combat. 1, 2, I believe it's 3, right? Oh, 2 or more creatures. Okay, well, we'll just take the card then. I'm happy to take the card there, especially since we didn't hit our land drop. And unfortunately, even if we drew a land there, we wouldn't get it. All right, now they have access to blue mana. They have their Magma Opus. They have access to the Galzeth. So now these can tap to play spells from their hand. So they have 5 mana there. They're a little bit short on the Opus. We see a Prismari command on the Elite Spellbinder to make more treasures. I don't know what that card is. They are in Wash Away territory now. This is a bad spot. We'll put this down for the land. I guess I'll try to play the companion. Draw a card. Yeah, now we're at a really bad spot. We'll play the Paladin class. No attacks. I think we'll just take the token here and see if we can try to stabilize it all. I think I'm in a ton of trouble. They have more than enough to Magma Opus. Crackle with Power is, what, 3 right now? Which isn't enough to kill me, but it's certainly enough to do bad things. So they stop on my upkeep. My guess is for the Magma Opus, but I mean, I could be wrong. Deals 4 damage to the creatures. Well, I'll play this in response since it's going to waste my lands. You know what I mean? Since I have to... He's trying to tap the lands down, I might as well use it. Maybe I can get out the Wash Away here as well. Not enough mana for the Wash Away. Okay, now I have to let Opus go off. I don't have any choice here. Thankfully, they had to pay more for it because of the Paladin class. But now we are in a ton of trouble. Oh, this just looks... I don't know. This looks kind of bad, but we'll see if we can mount some sort of offensive. The problem is, what, Crack with Power is now 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, which would be 4 into X, it'd be 20. So they still can't kill me outright yet. I mean, imagine that's what they're going for now, is the Crack with Power finish. I mean, that's what I would do in Commander in this style of deck. Go for one of those big spells. I'm kind of hoping he'll attack, or they'll attack, because as soon as they attack, I mean, I can swing on the back. No, I think I'm content to take the 4. The bad part is I can't cast my commander. If I pump this, I think this is my only shot, is to pump this Paladin class and just hope that I can get through for some damage. We see a Fading Hope. Okay. I think we go swinging. We got to try to get some damage through. They go down to 3. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna matter. Unfortunately, I think they're going to big spell us out here. Put down the Hermit. Only hope I have is somehow giving this Champion of Alms like unblockable, but let's Candlegrove Witch. Try to draw out some removal here. Try to draw out some counter spells. The Essence Capture. Okay. Again, I'm just trying to see what, what counter spells do they have? What things do they have? So I can't attack here because this Champion of Alms doesn't actually get around the Galazeth. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're at 4 for X, which is 20. They probably should have attacked there. Intrepid. Why don't they attack there? I don't have a flying blocker. You have Crackle with Power getting close to the upper echelon. I'm intrigued as to why they don't block there, or why they don't attack there. All right, am I paying for this? If I dump in twice, I'm still dead to removal. I try to hold up the Wandering Emperor, but again, I don't think it does me any good. I think we're just waiting on them to finish the game. So they get rid of this land. Okay, it brings the new one in untapped. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15. Still only 4, so it's still only 20 damage with Crackle Power. And then they could walk out my entire board and attack for lethal here. That's my guess as far as what their turn is, but we'll find out. Okay. So it's dealing 4. Let's try to pull out the counterspell here. I still don't survive the turn, but let's try. Draconic Intervention. Yep, and then that is it. That's killer. Yeah, again, we tried, but couldn't close it out. Let's get one more game. Man, it saddens me when I pull out these decks, and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a ton of fun. And then you just get, like, bad games all in a row. But, hey, welcome to recording content. As an Easter egg, if anyone's listening to the video this far, we've recorded 2 videos of EDH gameplay. That's going to be coming soon. I'm really excited about that. I'm in the process of editing that. I think it'd be cool because we got a couple games in on camera and everybody played their decks they were the most excited to play, and both the games really good. So hopefully we get to bring that content to you guys soon. All right, we got one more game in it for this video. Let's see how we do. Can we pull out another win, or is Adeline gonna go 1-4 this video? Adeline, interestingly, not a commander that I've considered building. I have, I think it looks fine. Adeline seems like it gets a lot of good value. The real problem to me with Adeline in Commander is there's just other mono-white commanders I would build before it. Heliod Suncrowned, Light Paws. There's just some more other fun commanders I'd rather build before it. And so it's never really come across. All right, Xanathar. As soon as our opponent gets to 6, we're going to not have a fun time. So we got to get there and try to get there quickly. Beer Takedown can come down as the land, but I do like it as a piece of removal. Alright, let's want Welcoming Vampire first, because then when we bring Adeline down next turn and attack, we can draw a card off of it. There are 4 mana. And we see nothing. Well, let's get my commander countered, because that's what I expect to happen. Nothing. Are they just bluffing? I'm trying to figure out what their plan is here. Are they going towards the board wipe? Are they have nothing, so they're waiting for the, waiting for the blood on the snow play? Five mana. Sludge Monster. So Sludge Monster, unfortunately, doesn't fix their problem because of this borrowed time. And they don't know that I have the borrowed time. But once I do this, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. I'm a little bit short, but this borrowed time is definitely going to help me out. Will this do it? This is going to get me close. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think I'm like 2 points off. Oh, bummer. 1 point off. No. Well, they have to wipe the board. If they can't wipe the board, the game's over. And if they do wipe the board, I can animate the Cave of the Frost Dragon. Sure. Alright, so all we gotta do is Cave of the Frost Dragon's 5. We're gonna put this down, animate this, and that's game. Nice! Yes, I'm glad Adeline ended at least on a win against Xanathar there. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my Adeline Brawl video. Pretty salty games, but that's okay. It happens sometimes on Arena. You get those bad matchups, but I will be coming back with more Brawl content for you very soon. I will catch you next time.